Welcome to Home Dad Chat, brought to you by the National At Home Dad Network. My name is Brock,
My name is Danny.
and we are here to talk about life as stay at home dads. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
No, I don't want much. I even love handmade crafts made of macaroni. Come on now, you should know me. Times I might eat too much. No worry about my weight, got the dad bod rocking on me. Sketches on my feet, cargo shorts look good on me. I'm a dad, that's what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Home Dad Chat. It has been a day, and because of that, Danny and I have poured some very nice drinks for ourselves as we get ready to enjoy having a fun conversation with a very cool guest. So, what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
This is an Aberlour, which is one of my favorite scotches, but hit me a little hard.
Did it sneak up on you there?
It did. Yeah, it did for a little bit. But this is a 12-year-old Aberlour,
Okay.
which is good, but their 18-year-old is my preference, and it is really good scotch, in my opinion.
Right.
But this is all right. You know, you basically come down to money versus how much you're going to enjoy it.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
12's fine. I like it. It's delicious.
That's good.
How about
Very
you?
cool. I am drinking a blended straight bourbon from Old Elk. So not the bottle that I got from the guys on the Bourbon Trail. This is the birthday bottle that you sent me.
Oh, nice. Good.
So yeah. So cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers to everybody else out there too.
Yeah, and it's appropriate that we're cheersing at this time of the evening because tonight's guest is none other than the legendary John Francis, founder of Father's Eve, who honestly has made his own holiday for dads before Father's Day, and it's awesome.
Yeah, the first time I heard about it, I literally thought it was something that I missed. I thought, oh, I've never heard of this. I don't know what I'm missing, because, a lot of stuff in life, you don't get everything all at once. You get it in steps.
Right.
But and then he made it up. Basically, he created it. And I'm like, wow, that is cool, because Father's Eve is an amazing day.
It is.
Because Father's Day is fine. Father's Day is great. It has a purpose. It serves, it does what it does. But I think especially for people with multiple kids, your Father's Day is what the kids want to do.
Yeah,
it's them doing things for you. It's maybe not getting you a goofy traditional stereotypical tie as a gift. Probably isn't the same it is these days.
Yeah,
but it's just more for, and that's great. What we do with our kids, that's why we do this job. But Father's Eve is all about just being a dad and hanging out with other dads and maybe grilling, maybe lift, a libation or two, your drink of choice. And it's really just a nice idea to give us a time to just be for us.
Yeah. I love it because you get that opportunity to hang out with other dads and share stories and just have a good laugh. And if you're somebody that enjoys a good cigar or pipe or whatever, it's the perfect place to sit around and do all that too, if you're not in an inside location or whatever that. So yeah, man, I mean, I don't know, it's just one of those kind of missed things that I love that he has just created, and we'll get his origin story out of it because I don't want to steal any of his thunder or whatever. But I mean, I've been doing Father's Eve in my backyard for multiple years, and I get guys who, a couple months even before June, hey, are you doing Father's Eve again? They really like it, and they tend to have some really good experiences with it. I've actually had I've had dads show up who they've met each other before but hadn't seen each other in years, and then reconnect, which is really cool. One of the ones that I thought was really special was there were a couple of dads who were recently divorced, and these two guys connected really quickly and became friends, and they still hang out. And one guy in particular sent me a text message actually this year and was just like, hey man, I just got done hanging out at so-and-so's house, and I just wanted to say thank you so much for inviting me to Father's Eve, because I would have never had this friendship otherwise. And I was just like, wow, that's really
Yeah.
cool. It's not something that, that's not planned at all.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a really fun event, and it's changed so much over the years. COVID has definitely changed it.
Yeah.
But John has rolled with the punches with his team. He's done a great job of building some awesome people to help back him. And I think this year is definitely a significant year for him. So it'll be interesting to hear what it is he has planned for this
Mhm.
big event coming up in just a few weeks.
Yeah. And we can figure out how easy it is to do it yourself.
Yes,
You
definitely.
know, just like you said, you've got it in your backyard and you just invite some dads. Let's, come on over, because it doesn't have to be anything huge or big or, pricey. It's just
No.
come over and hang out and just celebrate being a dad.
Yep,
That's
definitely.
awesome.
Well, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will have John Francis on to talk about Father's Eve. So see you in
Yeah.
just a moment.
Let's go.
Become a member of the National At-Home Dad Network, an organization focused on providing advocacy, community, education, and support, connecting with households where dad is the primary caregiver of the children. We do this through our webinar and podcast series, mental health support groups, regular online social events, as well as our annual convention. The National At-Home Dad Network is a 100% volunteer organization. Without the generous support of its members and the community around it, we would not be able to continue the work that we do. Becoming a member gives you access to past convention speaker presentations, the ability to vote for board members annually, and ensures that the organization's fees and bills are in positive standing. Oh yeah, it should not go unmentioned that there is some cool swag headed your way if you decide to become a member. For only $35 a year, your membership provides you with the exclusive content only we can generate, and you'll be supporting an organization that benefits families all around the country and world. By advocating for them, offering them community, providing education and guidance, and supporting them to grow in their parenthood journey. And one last thing, if you contribute $500 or more, you will become a lifetime member. Not only will you receive everything already mentioned, but also a certificate recognizing your status and an exclusive National At-Home Dad Network challenge coin with our trademark logo, Dads Don't Babysit. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. As we said, we have the legendary John Francis, founder of Father's Eve. He's very excited to be here, and we are super excited to talk to him tonight. John, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Brock. Thank you, Danny. Good to see you guys.
Always
Glad
good
to
to
be
see
here.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Honestly, with Father's Eve just around the corner here in a few weeks, I was really stoked to get you in, because hopefully after guys listen to this, they'll understand a little more about Father's Eve and maybe even feel a little more motivated to hold an event at their place. So
Yeah, I sure hope so. I mean, that's part of the fun, right? It's like the biggest secret that I'm not trying to keep, right?
It's all good.
Yeah,
It's all good.
appreciate the chance to share the story and hopefully inspire some guys who want to participate with us.
Yeah, definitely. Hey,
Definitely.
So how many years has Father's Eve been going on for now?
Well, the way I explain it, this will be the, and we had this debate last year, so I guess I don't know. So I'll explain it this way. The first one was an accident, was 2012. Like the very first time we ever mentioned Father's Eve was
that
2012.
Was that in the garage? Was that
That
one?
was the original garage warming party when we had to break in the garage. We had to throw a bottle against the wall and everybody celebrated. It was so much fun.
Throw a bottle against the wall. Is that like christening a boat to go out to sea?
Yeah, that was. I got a really nice garage with a floor drain and everything. I mean, just like Minnesota garage,
Yeah.
And,
I hope it was like a bottle of like Malort or something like that.
I don't remember what it was, but we got after it pretty good that night, and it was fun. You know, it was just a bunch of guys. I call it like a clown show. We had nothing to do but hang out. So
Well, you have some fun guys up there. I got to meet them when we were up in Minneapolis. So yeah, I can
yeah, so
understand that.
2012 was an accident. 2013 was the first sort of on purpose. 2014 was when we realized it was out of control. So 2015 was the first time we actually organized. Like, we moved it to a bar, we made it a fundraiser, we got some publicity. I think we printed t-shirts for the first time. You know, 2015 was like the official attempt. Like, we really tried to do it. You know, the others were just sort of building up. And then so 2016 was the first year we'd done it anywhere else. So it had always been in St. Paul. You know, we started there in the first one in 15, and then 16, 17, 18, 19, it grew and grew and grew and grew. And then 2019 was our, I guess, our peak, you know, pre-COVID. We had 60 cities, 60 events in America and Canada and Mexico. And we had a few other randoms in Costa Rica. I had some guy in Scotland, and, you know, just crazy. And
That would have been the one to go to right
That's
there.
oh, man. Then 20 was COVID, so everything stopped. And I
Right.
came back to my new, where we moved since. So my back to the garage with like 10 guys was the law, like the limit. So
Right.
whatever. We made the best of that. We figured out live streaming, which really wasn't very pretty, but we tried. And then 21 last year, we did it back in the garage. Oh, no, last year we were at a brewery back. We got outside. We could have public as long as it was outside. So we
Right,
had
right.
this brewery with a big parking lot. And then we tried the online thing again, which really didn't work at all last year. It was a disaster. The place we were at, the Wi-Fi was too weak, and we didn't, of course, know that until it was too late. And so
Yeah.
we were trying everything. And who cares? You know, we had fun, and guys had fun all over. So this year, 22, we're sort of back in, I would say, somewhat of an organized approach. Although I really have simplified things. And anyway, right now I'm at I think there's 20 locations
Nice.
that are hosting Father's Eve events. I think there's one in Canada. I have not heard from the guy in Mexico, but they're kind of all over the country, sprinkled around. Some guys are coming back, like you, Brock. I know you're doing Cincinnati. That's always a big deal. And then we're here in Minneapolis, and then there's some new guys. So every year, you know, people find, I mean, I keep talking about it and telling stories, and people hear about it. And I think, you know, so if this is 22 and the first one was 12, you know, I can't do the math, but it's either 10 years or 11 years.
I was gonna say, I would think it would put you at 10 years this year. If you got
Yeah.
2012 as your first one, you would be at your decade mark
We've
this
done it
year.
10
So
times.
congratulations to 10
Yeah.
years. That's
Well,
awesome.
it's been a ride, you know, up, down, and sideways. And you know, I my attitude on this thing has always been, this has got to be fun. I'm not doing it if it's no more fun, I'm not doing it. And so
Right.
we're still doing it, so it's still fun. And we don't take ourselves too seriously, you know, we never really have. Father's Eve is real simple. It's about bringing guys together to, we say, connect, share, and celebrate fatherhood. So you know, we're not really, there's no real program, you know, there's no speech, we're not saving anybody, we're not selling anything, we're not,
Yeah.
you know, it's just simple, easy, get together, have some fun. Now, this year, 22, we added, we wanted to expand the opportunity to include family and kids, and really give dads a chance to demonstrate leadership, I guess is a nice way to say it. And
Yeah,
we think
it's
that
a great
dads
way to
want
say
to
it.
do the right thing if somebody gives them a chance. So
Yeah.
we wanted to add a volunteer program during the day. Father's Eve is always Saturday, right? So we've got a daytime sort of community, volunteer, give back, do some good during the day. And then at night, it's the same kind of what we've been doing, that, you know, dad's night out, get together, have some fun with the.
What are some
8 o'clock
what are some of the volunteer things that the organizers have been putting forth that are going to be happening during the daytime?
Yeah, I've seen some pretty interesting stuff. You know, we got some creative types out there, and here in Minneapolis, so far, we've got a playground to go rehab. That's
Nice.
not far from the brewery we're going to spend the night at. So we'll get up there probably
Nice.
2 or 3 o'clock.
Wait, you're spending the night at a brewery, or
Well,
you just gonna?
We'll be there for the evening.
Like,
It wasn't the intent, but
I'm sure I'll make
just have
it
a bunch
home.
of dads show up with like sleeping bags, like,
Yeah,
I
an
gotta sleep
RV,
near the
man.
taps.
I don't know. I might be up for that, man.
We're moving in. Yeah, I'd move in. Anyway, we're gonna rehab a playground by the city. We got a hold of the city where we are, and the guy who runs the brewery, of course, he went. I'm like, we're gonna do this community thing, and he's like, yeah, he's all. So his people, their employees, he's been promoting it, and we're promoting it. All our friends. I think we'll have 20 or 30 guys if we're lucky. Who knows? Kind of depends on the weather. I mean, you
Sure.
never know. But we got a simple plan to work through the city to rehab a playground so that's easy. Spend a
That's
few
awesome.
hours pulling weeds and cleaning stuff and fixing stuff and nothing too complicated, but nice.
But it's a great. It
opportunity.
seems
Yeah.
like a great event to be able to get kids out. They can pull weeds and maybe do some little
Yeah,
painting at
do some
the
things.
park that they hang out at too.
That's right. Some of the other things, there's a group in Ohio, in Troy, Ohio, where I'm not entirely sure how far that is from you. They're doing a father-daughter dance
Okay,
for Father's Eve, a whole family thing. It's moms and everybody, but it's focused on fathers and fatherhood.
that's cool.
You think of another one. There's a group in Kansas City doing some work. They've got some volunteer thing. I can't remember what it was called. They've got some group. There's somebody doing a Habitat for Humanity. And
Oh,
I know
great.
you did that.
That's cool.
once.
I did that a while ago. Yeah.
We talked to them on a national level, trying to get some coordination. And they said, well, we're too small, but the idea is there. The ambition is there. The relationship is established. So we're trying to coordinate that as we grow up,
Nice.
get a little bigger. But it's a range of things that volunteers, someone's doing a food shelf pantry thing where they're going to clean up the warehouse for this
Nice.
food
Yeah.
shelf. It's like, what can kids do? They can sweep and move boxes and simple stuff.
Right. Like here in Cincinnati, we're doing for the volunteer portion, we're going to go to a diaper bank, and basically the kids can count out 25 diapers, and then the dads can wrap them up, and then they're going to go to different families around the community. So,
Yeah.
and then we're going to do a diaper drive and drop off at the location where we're actually holding Father's Eve that night. So not only are we wrapping them, but we're also collecting them to keep them moving along. So I'm excited about partnering with the local diaper bank here in town.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. There's some, it's use your imagination, but the idea is to give dads a chance to demonstrate some values to their children, right? And live your values. So I said the easiest thing you could do is take a grocery bag and take your kid and walk around your block, pick up trash. And when you're throwing it in your garbage can, take a selfie or something like, hey, we did this, even if it took you 5 minutes. It's demonstrating something of value, giving back to the community, showing there's more to life than, just monetary and, what about me? Do something for someone else and try to help the community. I think there's just a huge need and opportunity. And like I said, most dads will do the right thing if they're given the chance. Someone organize it and put it out there and say, come on with me, and then guys will come. So
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to do this year. And we think that's a smart move to expand our thing to a little broader audience and a little more engagement. And then, we're still going to do the nighttime evening, have some fun and get together, which of course that's pretty straightforward, simple too. So
Yeah.
the
I've been
combination, I think, is-
poking Danny. I've been like, Danny, you live in a new area. It's a great way to meet a bunch of dads.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
One
keep
thing,
thinking I'm going to go to the Twin Cities. Actually, I keep thinking,
yeah, come on
it's
up, man.
Lake
We have
Elmo.
room.
Lake Elmo. What's in it?
There's one in Lake Elmo. That's a private one. That's a friend of
Okay.
mine, Jeremy. He's at his backyard, so it's just him and his buddies,
All right.
But
All right.
he's a regular guy. You'd probably get along. He's a real nice friend. So
Where's yours going to be at, John? Where are you going to be
We're
in
at-
Minneapolis?
yeah, the city is called Roseville, so it's like a suburb here in the Twin Cities. It's a first ring interior suburb and kind of north central Twin Cities, pretty easy to get to.
Okay.
The brewery is called Bent Brewstillery. It's a brewery and a distillery
Cool.
combined.
Okay.
So they have all
That's
kinds
cool.
of beer and cider and all of that, and then they have like spirits, wine, or vodkas and whiskey, and I don't know what else, all kinds of stuff. They've been around for a long time. The guy who runs it is a pretty interesting character. He's got a great personality. He's a lot of fun. His name is Bartley, and he's been a great guy to get to know. And we're having fun, and he knows it, and we're bringing it there, and he loves it. So, we've gotten to know each other. They help promote it, and we're promoting it them. And like I said, nobody's getting rich, and no one's going broke. We're just really trying to have some fun together, and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
share what we can, and collaborate. So it's easy, it's fun.
I mean, everything I always see every year on it. I mean, you've got the full spectrum of different guys, anything from just in your backyard, like what I've been doing for the past few years, like bring your own food and drink or whatever, share, drinks, and people, just guys are just throwing stuff on the grill or whatever, to, going to
Yeah.
breweries like you're doing. I know New York, I know one year did like a flag football game, and then
Yeah.
they went over to like a bar across the street or something
Yeah.
like that.
They're
And
doing that again in New
Oh, are they?
Harlem.
Cool.
They're playing in Central Park. There's a Morningside Park they play, and then then they're going to some other tavern. A great play. They've been doing, I think, kind of the same thing. People are trying to get back to what they can do with the COVID thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys have done well, I feel like, maneuvering through all of the, COVID craziness, and just, not being able to meet in big groups and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like, just from watching the organizers, like they want to somehow bring guys together in a safe way. And in the past 2 years, like, they've been able to figure out different ways to do that, and keep things moving along. And also too, like, keep the name Father's Eve out there in the social media world for people to be able to see that it's still going on. So I honestly, like, I applaud you that, you and your team have been able to keep things going, because there are other, different things like organization type stuff that have really just kind of like died off or floundered because
Yeah.
they didn't know what to do, and just kind of panicked. And it doesn't seem like you guys panicked. You're just like, let's keep pushing forward. It might not look the same, but at least
Mhm.
we're still providing the same, atmosphere as much as we can.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Brock. It's it's nothing's easy, right? Nothing's free. I mean,
Mhm.
been working on this thing, and like I say, we're not a quitter, right? I don't know sometimes when to stop, but I think if we just keep it going. My intention is that this in 20 years from now, this will be an overnight success. It's gonna be one of those things, like all of a sudden something's gonna catch and it takes off, and
Mhm.
people are like, oh God, what a great idea. Well, we've been doing it for 20 years, nobody knew. So
Yeah.
it'll take a while, and we're open to the outcome of anything. I don't want to say anything goes, but I mean, our expectations are pretty realistic, and my effort is limited. I can only do so much. I mean, as I was saying, I've got a lot full life going on with all the other insanity, and everybody does, so we get it. All the guys are volunteers. Nobody's making a nickel on this thing. If we make money, we give it
Mhm.
away.
Right.
And,
Well, and that's the other thing too. Dan, you want to talk a little bit about what Father's Eve has done for the organization over the past few years?
Well, I was going to say too, just Father's Eve, and honestly, your name, John, has been such a benefit for, I know, 8 years at least,
At
for
least.
the
Yeah.
National at Home Dad Network's annual convention, because of the convention eve, which is always a huge event. I mean, this is where we kick off what's going to be our big brotherhood of fatherhood event.
Yeah.
And we start out with time that you've provided us.
Yeah,
we
it's
go
a lot
to-
of fun.
It is. It
Convention
really
Eve
is.
a great approach. It's like, this is exactly who we are and what we want to do. So
Yeah.
it fits perfectly. And I found your group, the At Home Dad network. Yeah, I was looking for a legitimate 501c3 that was going to use the money in an appropriate way. I didn't want to throw it into some huge, drop in the ocean kind of thing. And I wanted a group that I could actually connect with and share ideas and, personally get to know. And so it's been a good match.
Mhm. And
And,
you've benefited us.
Raised, I think if I added it all up last time I did a count, which has been well, I guess since last year, I think we were like $40,000 cumulative, like,
Mhm.
over so many years.
Yeah.
So that's meaningful,
Yep.
and we think we can do
Tremendous.
more, as we get bigger and broader. And some of the strategies, honestly, before COVID, I mean, we had some really cool momentum built up. We were working on some relationships with some of the franchise businesses that I work with in sort of my day job. And, all that kind of disappeared with COVID, but I'm optimistic that, it'll come back over time. We'll find our way to share what we have and find a way to generate some even more good with it.
Yeah, you guys have had some great connections with some really awesome sponsors over the years. So, I mean, it's been really cool to interact with them just throughout different things. Like, I know, one of the big ones you had was it Sports Clips? Is that right?
Sport Clips.
Yeah, Sports Clip. Like they were great at being a part of things. And I remember you had like the Hero Brush one year, which I still use that thing, honestly.
Yeah.
I love that thing.
Yeah.
Danny, this thing is awesome, dude. Like it's literally an attachment to your garden hose that has like a brush that spins on it. And like I can clean my grill. Like I would go
Oh
in.
yeah. All right.
It's awesome. Like, yeah, you can go in there and just clean the grill and it's already doing the thing. And clean your tires on your car, like all kinds of stuff. Like I use
We've
it.
had that. We've had a lot of product sponsors. People want to give us stuff to give away, which is fine, but until it comes to point of distribution where I'm paying to ship this stuff all over the country.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How did this happen?
Yeah. How do I suddenly I'm out of pocket?
Yeah.
And also you did mention like the franchises you've worked with and the momentum that you had pre-COVID. I'm going to probably embarrass you a little bit, but suck it up. Everything that you have, not everything, but this is a passion thing for you. This is something that you are passionate about and you want done. And every time I've ever heard you speak, mostly at the convention, every time that we've had a conversation, I always come away thinking, man, John is a nice guy. I mean, you have that air about you that this is somebody that wants to help me, but also that I want to help, that I wanted to maybe get in business with. I want to start something with, I want to develop ideas with, I want to move these things forward with. You really have that. I think the best word would be like the charisma of somebody that's there, not for yourself, not for money, not for anything other than you have a wonderful idea that you want to see in the world, basically. And you're pushing it forward. And I have to say that whatever momentum you may have lost, and I think we all lost momentum through COVID.
Oh yeah.
Anything that you may have lost, I am sure will come right back to you in spades. I really think so.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. That's generous of you. And you're right. I'm a lucky guy that I get to do kind of what I want to do, and I can do this. And part of the motivation for this, going all the way back, I mean, it started out honestly as an accident on the calendar with this garage party, but what it showed me is how important to me my friends are, right? Because I lost my dad when I was 26, and then I lost my older brother when I was 29, and I didn't finally get married till I was 32. I didn't start having kids till I was 36 and 40, right? So it took me a little while to figure it out and get married and start a family and all the rest. But by the time I was doing my thing, the guys I would lean on, my dad and my brother, weren't here. So I married into some great family. I got a great in-laws and brothers-in-law and father-in-law. And my sisters, some of them are married to good guys. So I've got people around me, but I've got some really good friends from high school, from college, from work, and from all the stuff that I love to do, the hunting and fishing and snowmobiling. And these guys are like really close to me because I think I lean on them to talk about being a husband, being a dad, how do you do this in your house? How does it work? I got this going on. And so we talk about stuff. And I guess what I realize is how lucky I am to have these relationships, these friendships. So Father's Eve kind of became a way for me to give back to these guys and say, look, come on over. We're going to have some fun at my house. And everyone showed up and they kept showing up. And then they would bring in their buddies. And like I said, that third year, it was totally out of control, which I thought was awesome because these guys are bringing their friends because we're having a good time. So it is kind of an organic, natural sort of authentic, I would say. I want to give back to the friends who've given me and helped me, and I can help them. And so now I can share that with other guys. I mean, I wouldn't have met you guys. There's so many people I've gotten to know
Yeah.
and really connect with all over the country, and some great people. And if I can facilitate these connections at a local level, whether they're virtual like this, or whether they're on in person at an event, or at your conference, or other things we're trying to do out there, I'm just glad to do my part.
Oh yeah.
And I'm grateful for the opportunity and the ability and the freedom I have. And as long as I don't go overboard with it, I think I can keep this up for a while. And I've got some good buddies here, my team that help me, and then guys like you and other people around the country who I consider true friends, and like they want to be part of it. They want to do it too.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, and that's what I was telling Danny in the pre-portion of this, was the fact that, I've got all these great stories that I love to tell about how, different dads like met each other, and like it started a friendship that they would have otherwise never had.
Yeah.
Or, recently divorced dads who are meeting with somebody who's going to the same thing, and they've got, the ability to connect and kind of walk it through together. Or, just all these different areas where, you get these stories, and you hear them in different cities, like where that's the case. And it's awesome because, so long ago it was, oh, I'm not going to share any of my stuff. Like I'm going to keep it all inside type of deal. And, this is,
Man up,
yeah. And this event,
unnecessary.
yeah. And this event has, I feel like in a lot of ways, cultivated just that culture of, you're not alone, and it's okay to like share stuff and get things
right.
out there, and make that new connection. And two, like I always find it funny because I'm 42, and when I started doing this like 6 years ago, the big thing was, oh, you're getting older, it's going to be harder to make friends. And you get involved in stuff like this, and no, it's not. Like you get around other dads, and you find out that you have like different things that you like, and you figure out ways to go hang out, maybe go for bike ride some point, or go fishing with the kids, or whatever it is. But
exactly,
you're always finding these different ways. And now, I mean, it's not uncommon for like 2 months out, I'll get a guy, or a couple guys actually, they'll start messaging me, hey, are you doing Father's Eve again? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, dude, like I'm trying to get some things situated still, like give me some time. So like, and that's actually motivation for me as an organizer, to just try to maybe not so much go like bigger and better each year, but just try to find ways to bring different things in. So yeah, when you announced like, hey, we're going to do this volunteer thing, I was like, oh, this is just a really cool like opportunity to do some things. And I actually brought that to a local distillery, because I was talking with them about something else, and I mentioned like, hey, like there's this event going on, I'm going to be doing it at this old firehouse that's being transitioned into like a community area here in the neighborhood. And we're working with this diaper bank. And he was like, can I like put in 3 bottles of our whiskey, and we can do a raffle on it? It's like $150 value, and see what we can get to like give to the diaper bank. I'm like, well, yeah, for heck, yeah, let's do it, man. Like, so we're raffling off 3 bottles of whiskey from Carrick and Spirits in Fairfax, Ohio. So we're getting their straight bourbon, their rye, and their barrel aged rum as a raffle prize. So
that's great.
It's great. Hopefully going to raise a bunch of money.
Well, we see that same kind of thing. You give guys an idea, and you give them a little direction, and say, look, here's how you do it. Here's an example. Here's some simple materials. It doesn't take a lot to do this. It's not a huge effort. I mean, it can be whatever you want it to be. But, we see a lot of guys just pick it up and run with it because, they get other guys to get excited, like, hey, this is fun. And I agree with you. I think the other piece I guess I wanted to say is, for me, I get to spend time with my buddies doing our thing all around the year. But Father's Eve now has become sort of a calendar, a date on the calendar that it's, it's just like automatic. It just happens. And that's what makes it so amazing. It's like, well, I think if I wasn't here, if something happened to me, I think it would still happen. Other guys just keep it going.
Oh,
you
I would
know?
definitely keep it going. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I've got a local news station here in town that anytime I want to come on and announce like what's going on, like I go to them and they know that this time of year for Father's Day, Father's Eve, all that, like they know they're getting a message from me. So like I send them a
Yeah.
thing and like 2 days later, they're like, oh yeah, like we can have you on like the 16th. So I'm going on again for
Excellent.
like I don't even know how many times I've been on that show, but I love it because the guy that always interviews me, he's always excited to hear what's going on, with Father's Eve and just with the dad's group and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
honestly, like I owe a lot of that to you just with the fact that, we met and you were like, hey, like you should come, you should do this. And so it's been a blast. I am curious though about one thing, and I'm going to actually shift to Danny. Have you ever been to Father's Eve before at a Father's Eve out
No, I have
where you
not.
were at? No. Okay.
No.
Okay.
You can make it happen. It's
Well, I
Well-
live in Wisconsin now,
Put some
and
pressure on you,
it's
too.
it's there's a lot that we're putting because we've just moved up in August, and I'm still trying to pick. Like we're not in any sports, we're not in any after school stuff. Yeah, I mean, my high schoolers in a bunch of clubs, but it's like the family's not doing anything yet as a whole. So because we're still just trying to get our feet underneath us. But I was actually talking with another guy at a meeting last night for NAMI, which is the Northern Alliance on Mental Illness. Yeah, NAMI, right? So, but I was talking with him and he said, that sounds like a great thing. I mean, we could just get together and I'm like, you and me, buddy.
There you
And
go.
he can't commit yet, but I got his phone number. So, we'll see where we're at. But the need there, and we've talked about this before on the show. We talked about this in our Facebook page and on our groups and our website, the need for companionship, for friendship, for brotherhood, for
Yeah.
mentors, and all
Yeah.
of that comes from, like you said, when you lose your father or your father's not involved in your life for whatever reason, you lose out on so much throughout your life that you just can't get back. But if you can find a group of other men, like-minded men that are doing the things you want to do and do it with them, and it seems such like a simple formula, but it really plays into things like Father's Eve that plays into things that we as men need, and
Yeah,
it was like that to get another guy. Yeah, I'd love to come. I think it's something we had to wait and see what his wife was planning for him, I think, because they may be going away for the weekend.
And it's a busy time of year, middle of summer. We get a lot of graduation party conflicts, vacation conflicts and stuff. It's like, whatever, that's fine. We one of the slogans, we used to make slogans every year. We'd come up with a slogan for the event. And one of the years, I don't remember when it was, but the message was Father's Eve, bring your buddies or come make some new ones. That was
Nice.
That's a great slogan.
Yeah.
That
And
is a great slogan.
Do what you want. And we keep it real simple and it's free. It's got to be like that, I think, to make it really consistent with who we are and what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen where dads that live in like neighborhoods with like cul-de-sacs, who have like a gazebo. I know one guy in particular, like he was like, hey, I got a gazebo in my neighborhood, and he was just like, I'm gonna throw this thing. He's like, I'll bring a grill down and see who all shows up. And I think he had like 10 dads show up or whatever. It was really cool to see the pictures for that. I will say too, like I don't want everybody to think that this event is always just surrounded by alcohol. I know for fact, like Kyle Denny out of Denver is going to be, I believe, hosting, and I imagine that he will have something involved with Athletic Brewing because he's really big with them.
Yeah.
And also Matt Strain, who is also an ambassador and been on the show, is part of Athletic Brewing, and I know that he's put on stuff before. But yeah, it's one of those deals where it's like it's just about getting dads together to be able to enjoy the time together. And it's always been fun, man. I mean, it and like you said, it's so easy. Like it literally is just, hey, I have a grill in my backyard and some lawn chairs, like come hang out, cook some meat, let's have a good time.
The guys in Chicago, I don't know if you remember Brian.
Oh yeah, Brian Dykes. Yeah,
Dad's great guy. One of the first dads I met at a Dad 2.0 way back. And big guy like me, we're standing there. I'm like, I can make friends with anybody, And
Yep.
Go to the bar. He's standing at the bar. I buy 2 beers, one for me, one for him, and we're buddies from that moment on. It was
That's
just
it.
perfect. And anyway, they're having a family picnic for Father's Eve, all during the day. Bring your whole family. They're all getting together. I think it's I'm guessing it's like from noon to 2 or something, and it's over. That's it.
Mhm.
That's what they're doing.
Nice.
So it can
Yeah.
be anything, as long as it's appropriate, right?
And
Yeah.
and the point is that you start with you and one other dad,
Yeah.
and it'll grow 20, 30 people as long as you're consistent, as long as you're,
Yeah.
caring and you're doing it, again, it's something that you do out of your passion or because you want those friends, you want that community, and you don't have it. So you make it, right? But it starts with just simply, it was just me and say, the guy across the street came over and we grilled burgers, and that was it. And we didn't talk much because I don't know him. I just met him or whatever, but you still started. Okay. Well, that's what you did this year. Well, next year, what are you going to do? You got a
Yeah.
year to plan. What would you have done this year?
Yeah.
Get some lawn darts out there, make it exciting, or whatever you might do. So, but it's just starting it. That's the thing. And,
Yeah,
I love that you're the guy that starts stuff. It's obvious. I mean, I think everybody knows
thank
you
you.
knows that.
You reminded me of one of the early years. I think it might have been in 2016 when, we were just experimenting, like, how do we do this? We didn't really know what we were doing. We were just doing it. I got a call like the next day after, maybe it was like the Monday after. I sent an email out to the guys, say, hey, how'd it go? Send me some pictures. We want to see what you did. We want to share it with the other guys. And somebody called me, and I can't really remember where. I just remember being surprised. The guy said to me, he said, look, we got together Father's Eve. We were at some little bar somewhere, restaurant or whatever. He said there were 5 guys who didn't know each other. And we sat down at one table and we talked for 3 hours.
Yep.
And I said, no way.
That's
I said,
awesome.
no way. And he said, no, really. He said, thanks to you for putting this concept out there to the universe, that somebody picked it up and organized something. And these dads sat down and they didn't know each other at all. And he said that was kind of freedom because we just shared ideas and just talking about whatever. And he said it was, by the end of the night, they all knew each other. They had shared phone numbers or whatever. And they're buddies, right? They came as strangers, but they left as friends. And to me, that's a beautiful outcome of this whole thing.
Well, and that's the whole thing. Like it is a Father's Night Out type thing. And, for being a part of like City Dads, like that's one of the things that we try to do is like a Father's Night, like a dad's night out, like once a month type of deal. And so a lot of my guys here in the area, they yearn for that night out with the guys, and those couple 2-3 hours, whatever, we set aside to go somewhere and chat. Like it's amazing. Like, because you get guys who have never met before. They might have maybe had like a very small interaction on social media in some way through one of the groups, but for the most part, like they're meeting each other for the first time, and the conversations flow, the acceptance is wide open. And it's just great to like be like, hey, like it's so funny. Like you guys are like walk up and you're like, oh, is this the dad's group? And like, nah, we're just a bunch of guys hanging out. Yeah, well, this is the dad's group. Come on, sit down, kind of deal. And and even too, like, I mean, I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was right before the pandemic. I had a guy who he joined Meetup because that's where we were like having an invitation on there. Guy joins Meetup, finds the Father's Eve on there, and immediately like messages me in the morning, and he's like, can I still come to this? Like, I just found this. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like show up. Like never met the guy, whatever. Man, he shows up that night and he's immediately like, oh, wow, this is so cool. And, he's there hanging out, talking like the whole night. And, he's come back every year since. And it's just those kind of connections. Like to me, like that's the motivation. It's like, all right, like I'm excited to do this again the next year. And it's just, it's just so much fun. Like,
it seems so simple, and it really is. And
it's super simple.
I'm surprised nobody else has figured this out. I don't consider myself particularly smart. If I can think of it, someone's probably already done it.
I will say though, I feel like something is stirring in the waters here in Cincinnati, because this year I have seen, I think it's 2 different breweries putting on stuff on the day before, on Father's Eve. So like one of the local breweries over in northern Kentucky, Braxton Brewing, which is really close to where the convention was at actually this past year. They're doing like sort of like a brunch type of situation. Like it starts at like 11 o'clock and you can go over, and it goes until like late afternoon or whatever. But it was just kind of interesting. Like I've never seen any other place here in the area doing anything like that. And so I'm like, oh, somebody's starting to catch on.
Yeah, good. Well, if they use the name, let me know, right? Because we want them to use the name, but we want to know that they're using the name.
Oh, sure, yeah, definitely.
It is a trademark, and anyway, I'm excited. I think the potential for this is enormous. You know, early on, as I was trying to figure out, you know, what could this be someday, I looked it up, and I think there are like 42 countries that celebrate Father's Day or something like Father's Day. And most of them, like 2/3 of them or 3/4 are like America, like this third Sunday in June, like we have. Most of the world is kind of on the same, but like Australia does theirs in September, which I guess their springtime, you know, and other countries, you know, I signed up for some list or whatever. I got all these dates and like, man, this could be just fun. I would love to, maybe this is a dream someday, would be to go to some of these Father's Eves all around the globe and drop in and say, hey, you know, I'm glad you're doing it here, you know, whenever it is. And that
would be cool.
It would be really fun to tour and just make it happen, you know, and create something with it. So I think there's just tremendous potential. And like I said, my approach has been pretty low key, pretty consistent. You know, we try to keep it simple and focus. And I can't throw a ton of money at it, but you know, we got enough to keep it alive. And it's what I call a hyper seasonal business. You know, it's one night a year. So we really get busy, you know, a few weeks before and a couple of days after. And we've tried to do things in different times of the year and try to get more awareness with sponsors. And, you know, there's a lot of great ideas, but to be honest, the execution is always the hard part, you know, because everyone's busy with everything else. And so we just kind of keep a realistic expectation of, you know, we keep showing up, we keep doing our part, we keep sharing it with the people around us who seem to want to keep doing it, like you fellas. You know, it'll just get where we'll get what we deserve over time.
Definitely.
And it's okay. We're okay with it.
Well, I would be remiss before we left if I didn't ask this. How can guys get in touch with you? How can they kind of get things going to where if they want to just invite their neighbors around them to be able to throw something together? How does that all take place?
Well, the easiest place is our website is fatherseve.com. There's no apostrophe, by the way. Fatherseve.com. All the info is there. We're on all the social media, you know, wherever you're looking, we're probably there. I'll throw my phone number out. You guys know me. I love talking all the time. I get calls all day long. I'm on the phone, but my phone number is 612-868-0745. And that's right to my cell phone. I answer it if I'm not already talking to someone else. And so it's free. Father's Eve, there's no cost. There's no credit cards. You know, we're not collecting any personal data. I need your name and address and phone number and email. And there's a license agreement that's pretty simple. And then there's 5 simple rules, nothing too complicated. And then I actually talk to each host to validate the license and make sure they're not going to screw this up. You know, we don't want to just give it away to anybody. We want to have some standards, some expectations, some consistency. But it's fun and easy, man. I've had people like, I don't know if it was last year. Anyway, they would call me like the day before, like you said, you know, hey, I just heard about this. Can I do this? Like, sure. Hit the website, click the button. We'll talk for 30 seconds. You know, I don't need a lot of time. Just make sure you're legit. And you can pull this off. We have the online thing this year. We've simplified our online approach because it was just overly complicated last year. So we're doing a Zoom countdown toast. You know, we do the 8 o'clock
Nice.
Everybody knows New Year's Eve, you got to wait till midnight for the toast. Well, on Father's Eve, we back it up to 8 o'clock local time because I got to go home by 10:30. So at 8 o'clock in each of the 4 U.S. time zones, we'll be on Zoom doing a countdown, with the, 10, 9, 8, and we count it down. And it's just fun. And people come in from all over the place. All over the place. Last, I think it was last, well, it must have been the first year where, anyway, one year we tallied our reach was over 12,000 guys had seen it or logged in or participated with it, which is
cool.
Who are all those people, right?
Right.
Where
I know
are
you.
they?
Yeah, I know you guys. I know you kind of like track like hashtags, like hashtag Father's Eve kind of pops up in different ways, and you can see it like, which is always really cool because it's neat to see all the different like as like the time zones kick through, like everybody like is throwing pictures up and stuff. So
it's fun, yeah, and I know it'll catch on again and again. Like I said, every year we nudge it a little further, and we start a little earlier, we get a little smarter, and yeah, so it's really fun to see the engagement from all over the place, and then like I said, the creativity that some of these guys do with whatever they, what fits them or what suits them where they are.
Well, it's a great event that fosters a lot of positive fatherhood, honestly. And I feel like, with all the things that like City Dads, the National At-Home Dad Network, Life of Dad, the Father's Eve, Dad 2.0 Summit, like all these different, entities that have been pushing this for, a decade or more. It shows and it comes to light in movies, TV shows, commercials, all those different things. And honestly, like, the more that it gets out there in the light, the more it also normalizes a lot of things, especially the fact that dads are active, involved, and caring towards their kids, towards their spouses and their families and things like that. And I honestly, like, to me, like that's one of the biggest things about this event is just the fact that it just really puts a spotlight on the fact that getting dads together shouldn't be some odd thing. Like, honestly, like it should just be something that should be just a normalized thing, just like moms getting together and hanging out, like dads getting together and hanging out and talking about what's going on in their lives with their kids and all these other things. And so I honestly, like, this, what you have created by accident is really just a beautiful thing that I feel like, you're talking about in 20 years, like it definitely, I feel like in 20 years, like it'll catch fire to the point where it'll be just a known thing that goes on the night before Father's Day. So
yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Brock. It really is kind of a, it's just one of those things, I feel like it's so simple, it's so fundamental, we take it for granted. But when you put a little intention behind it and you put a little purpose and you give guys just a simple little direction, like here's how you do it, and it's catching on, it's caught on, it's been going, and like I said, the COVID, changed things, but it forced us to innovate, which is okay. We survived that and we're still doing it. And
definitely,
I think there's a long way to go and a ton of people that can participate and have fun with us. And we reserve the right to get smarter, right? And to do things better and and even have even more fun with it. So
definitely.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, John, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. It's been seriously a pleasure and an honor to have you on. It was great to have you in Cincinnati this past year for Home Dad Con, and just all the things that you did with helping with Convention Eve for that event. And I mean, I know that things might change over the years, but I know that our friendship will not. And
Sure.
hopefully we see you out in Phoenix to hang out with us at least. And we'll see where things go from there. But honestly, man, like I hope that Father's Eve this year is a huge success, and that, it's one of those things where maybe afterwards, even like news stations and stuff like catch on to it and they're like, what was that? Like, and come back and see what's up. So
there's always next year. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. There's always next year. So Yeah, man. So thanks for coming on the show. And yeah, man,
Thanks,
it's
John.
such a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Brock. I appreciate it. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you guys putting this together and keeping the effort out there with your association and the members and the good work that you guys are doing as well. It's understood, it's recognized and appreciated, and I'm just glad to be part of it. So thank you.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, y'all have a good night.
Yep.
All right,
Everybody.
take care.
I'm a dad, that's what I do.